Most of us think negative emotions are something to avoid. But what if they are the key to our growth? What if embracing these emotions could lead us to our deepest breakthroughs? When we hear the word negative, we often think of something we need to escape, something that weighs us down. But what if I told you that these very emotions we run from, fear, anger, sadness, hold with them a profound opportunity for transformation? What if instead of trying to silence or avoid them, we learn to listen to what they are trying to tell us? In today's video, we are going to explore how negative emotions can become the gateway to deeper self-understanding and growth. I used to be overwhelmed by my negative emotions, one thought after another, worry after worry, to the point of being paralyzed by them. For the longest time, I felt trapped in a cycle of negativity. It seemed like one worry would spiral into another until I was completely weighed down. Whether it was anxiety about paying my rent and bills, frustration with my job, or the constant what-ifs. What if my job contract didn't get renewed? What if I lost my relationship? What if something happened to my father or my siblings? I was stuck in an endless loop of worry and fear, pulled in 1,000 directions, constantly bracing for the worst-case scenarios. I was either replaying painful memories from the past or catastrophizing about the future. In that state, every moment felt like a battle. Some people might call it survival mode, where you are just trying to make it through the day. Others might call it avoidance mode, where you are so desperate to escape the discomfort that you end up procrastinating or overreacting, trying to control every outcome. Does any of this sound familiar to you? And the advice I kept finding? Just avoid negative thoughts, stop thinking about it, be more positive. The message everywhere seemed to be run away from negativity. There were endless strategies for escaping these emotions, distraction, positive affirmations, even pretending they weren't there. But the more I avoided my negative thoughts, the more powerful they became. They didn't disappear. In fact, they came back stronger, like a wave I was trying to push back, only to have it crash down on me with more force. It wasn't until I shifted my perspective that things began to change. I started to see that my negative emotions weren't there to torture me. They were there to teach me. Instead of running away, I began facing them, understanding them, and listening to what they had to say. And in doing so, I discovered something powerful. These emotions weren't the enemy. They were guides, leading me toward healing and growth. So why do we have negative thoughts and emotions? Why do they seem to arise so easily, sometimes overwhelming us? The truth is, there are 6 reasons, and understanding them can help us shift our relationship with these feelings. Number 1, survival mechanism. Our brains are biologically wired for survival. From an evolutionary perspective, focusing on danger and potential threats kept our ancestors alive. In those times, threats were immediate and physical: predators, hunger, harsh environments. But in today's world, those threats have transformed. Now, instead of predators, we perceive failure, rejection, insecurity, and uncertainty as dangers. Our brains still react to these perceived threats with the same intensity. When you worry about failing at work, being judged, or losing a relationship, your brain is triggering that old survival mechanism, warning you of danger. But unlike a physical threat that you can fight or flee from, emotional threats are much more subtle. And because our modern lives are filled with constant uncertainty, this survival instinct is often on overdrive, creating a stream of negative thoughts. Number 2, unresolved trauma. Another significant reason for negative emotions is unresolved trauma. When we go through painful or traumatic experiences, whether in childhood or adulthood, they leave an emotional imprint on us. If these experiences aren't fully processed or healed, they can resurface as negative emotions later in life, often triggered by seemingly unrelated situations. For example, someone who experienced rejection or abandonment as a child might develop a fear of intimacy or failure in adult relationships. This unresolved pain lingers beneath the surface, causing feelings of fear, anger, or sadness to emerge in unexpected ways. Our negative emotions are often a signpost pointing to these deeper wounds, asking us to pay attention and heal them. Number 3, conditioning. From the moment we are born, we are shaped by the world around us, our families, society, the media, and our culture. Many of the beliefs we hold about ourselves are not truly our own, but rather messages we've absorbed over time. and many of these messages are rooted in fear, judgment, or comparison. We are taught to believe that we need to be perfect, successful, loved, and admired to have worth. These societal expectations can plant seeds of doubt and fear in our minds. We start to believe that we are not good enough, that we need to achieve more, or that we need to fit in. This conditioning fuels our negative thoughts and emotions, creating a constant tension between who we are and who we think we should be. Number 4, lack of emotional awareness. Another reason we struggle with negative emotions is that many of us haven't been taught how to understand or manage our emotions. Emotional literacy, knowing how to identify, process, and express emotions in a healthy way, isn't something most people learn growing up. When we don't know how to handle what we feel, we often resort to either suppressing our emotions or letting them spiral out of control. Suppressing emotions can lead to frustration and confusion because those feelings don't just go away, they build up over time, sometimes leading to even stronger negative outbursts. On the other hand, letting emotions overwhelm us can make us feel out of control, which only reinforces negative thought patterns. Number 5, ego. The ego is our sense of self, the I that defines who we are in relation to others and the world around us. Its main function is to protect our identity, often by comparing, judging, and seeking external validation. The ego tends to measure worth based on achievements, status, or approval from others, which leads to a constant need for validation. When our ego feels threatened, whether by failure, rejection, or even criticism, it reacts with negative emotions like anger, insecurity, or jealousy. These emotions arise because the ego feels its sense of self is under attack. For example, when we face criticism, our ego might feel diminished, leading to feelings of inadequacy or defensiveness. The ego's fear of being perceived as less than or unworthy fuels many negative thoughts. It constantly seeks to protect itself from discomfort by projecting negativity outward or inward. This is why many people experience cycles of self-doubt, envy, or bitterness, because the ego thrives on separation and comparison. Number 6, resistance to change. Resistance to change is a different yet equally powerful source of negative emotions. Change inherently brings uncertainty and discomfort, and as human beings, we are wired to seek stability. However, life is filled with transitions, personal growth, relationships evolving, or career shiftings, and this can create anxiety, fear, or frustration. We often resist change because it challenges our sense of control. When faced with the unknown, we cling to what feels familiar, even if it's not serving us. For instance, someone might stay in a toxic job or relationship because the idea of stepping into the unknown feels scarier than enduring their current pain. This resistance creates tension within us, and that tension manifests as negative emotions. Instead of viewing change as an opportunity for growth, we see it as a threat to our comfort and predictability. And the more we resist, the stronger these negative emotions become. Fear of the unknown, anxiety about losing control, or frustration with life's unpredictability are all reflections of our deep-rooted resistance to change. When you understand these reasons, it becomes clear that negative thoughts and emotions are not random. They are signals. They are messages from our mind, body, and spirit, pointing us toward areas that need attention, healing, or change. And once we learn to listen to them instead of fighting them, we can begin to grow in ways we never imagined. But here's the secret. These thoughts and emotions are not your enemies. They may feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming at times, but they are not here to hurt you. In fact, they are doing the opposite. They are here to help. Negative emotions are signals, messengers from within, pointing to areas of our lives that need attention, care, and growth. Imagine for a moment if you shifted your view of these emotions. Instead of seeing them as obstacles to avoid or problems to fix, what if you saw them as guides, teachers that are inviting you to dig deeper into yourself? When fear shows up, it might be pointing to a place where you need more self-trust. When anger arises, it could be telling you that your boundaries have been crossed or that something important is being neglected. When sadness lingers, perhaps it's a sign that you need to allow yourself to grieve or let go of something that no longer serves you. Each of these emotions carries a valuable lesson, and if you are curious to dive deeper into the specific lessons negative emotions teach us, I've created another video that explores this in detail. It's a complementary tool that I know will give you even more clarity on the power of emotions like fear, anger, and sadness. You will discover how they are not just feelings to manage, but precious guides to your inner wisdom. So if you are ready to uncover how your emotions can lead you to a more fulfilling and empowered life, I invite you to check out that video. You can find the link in the description below. Trust me, it's a journey worth taking. Now I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect on a recent negative emotion you've experienced. What do you think it was trying to tell you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to engage with your insights and reflections. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might benefit from this perspective. Your support helps spread the message and empowers others to transform their lives. Personally, I've learned that staying present is the key to handling negative emotions. We can't change the past or control the future, but we can choose how to respond to the present. I used to invest so much energy in imagining the worst and regretting what's already happened. Now, I focus on finding lessons in the present and appreciating every moment, even the darkest ones. Understanding the true value and purpose of negative emotions has allowed me to shift my energy toward more positive intentions for the future. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, your emotions are not just obstacles, they are opportunities for growth. Let's embrace them, learn from them, and use them to become the best version of ourselves. See you in the next video. Much love.